Hi everyone, I'm back and this video is going to be a little bit more different to the videos that I usually do. There will be no spells in this video, nothing kind of magical in this video, although there are some witches in the story. So I will be telling a story. This is probably my favorite myth from Angola that I've read so far. And I'm kind of telling these stories because I think that Angola and Congo have such an underrated mythology. You know, we know about Greek myths and what else? We know about Native American myths and we know about Indian myths, but African myths in general are very underrated. And I think that it's kind of troublesome that in Africa we don't have that literary history in which we wrote down our myths, and we don't have these great epics like the Bhagavad Gita of India, and it's very hard to preserve your culture when it's not written down. So sharing this is a way, this is a way of sharing this, and this is also a way of preserving the culture. And it's a really interesting story. I could definitely see this becoming a movie of some sort. It's a really cool story with gods and warriors and twists, and it's kind of got like a plot twist at the end. So it all starts with Sudika Mabambi. Sudika Mabambi is the protagonist of this story, and his brother Kabangulu. I'm just going to be referring to his brother as Sudika's brother because I do not know how to pronounce Kabangulu multiple times throughout the video. So Sudika and his twin brother Kabangulu were in the womb of their mother when their village was attacked by a Kinoka Kiatumba, which is a six-faced ogre. So this ogre completely wiped out the whole village, destroying all the houses, destroying the cattle, and killing everyone, including Sudika's mother, who was pregnant with the twins. Miraculously, the twins survived, despite their mother being pregnant and dying, and they crawled out of the womb, and a group of Kipalende happened to be scavenging the village for any goods. So Kipalende is a kind of like a group of witches and shamans. So in Angola we call kind of like a shaman or a witch doctor a kimbanda, or at least in the north we call them a kimbanda. And a kipalende, they kind of differ from them. They kind of are more associated with maybe the darker arts, more hexing, and they tend to be in clans, whilst a kimbanda works mostly lonesome. So Kipalende is kind of like an African coven in a way. So the Kipalende were scavenging the village for any goods when they found the two babies crawling out of the womb. Shocked that babies had such amazing powers to be able to not only crawl out of the womb but know how to crawl out of the womb, they raised the babies as their own. And over time they noticed that these two twins, in particular Sudika, had really amazing powers in which they could move things with their mind. They didn't have to really be trained in the arts of Kipalende, which is divination. They could automatically tell the future. They could interact with the spirit world, which in Angola is called Kalunga, very well without needing any training really. So when the twins became teenagers, the Kipalende, a certain portion of the Kipalende, grew jealous because these twins, they didn't really need any training, and they were already, in terms of energy and being able to manifest stuff and being witches, they were already outdoing the other Kipalende. So one Kipalende warned Sudika and his brother that the other Kipalende were planning on murdering them. But unfortunately, the good Kipalende was far too late because he ended up dying right on the spot after the other Kipalende shot a poisonous dart at him and ended up throwing the two twins into a hole that led to the center of the earth, known as Kalunga, the underworld. Kalunga is home to Kalangombe, the lord of the underworld. And he automatically could sense the huge powers coming from the two twins, in particularly Sudika. And Kalangombe had one daughter who he had been saving for the right man, a powerful man. And he assumed that Sudika could be that man that could wed his daughter, the lordress of the underworld. But Kalangombe had to test Sudika first. So he initially tested him by, this is where the ogre, the six-faced ogre, comes back in, by summoning the Kinoka Kiatumba. So the Kinoka Kiatumba is what initially destroyed Sudika's village before he was born. And he summoned the same ogre that destroyed his village. And Sudika could remember, he could feel his mother's death. He still had that pain from never meeting his mother, never meeting his father, his whole village, his whole kind of life being destroyed before he was even born. And he fought and fought and fought. The two, Sudika and the ogre, they engaged in a huge battle. This ogre has 6 faces, and Sudika had to defeat each face one by one. Eventually he did, but there was a plot twist. Just as Sudika was about to defeat the ogre, he was swallowed by a huge crocodile that Kalangombe had summoned just as he saw Sudika winning the battle. And this crocodile, I'm trying to find the name. I've got my notes here because I'm not familiar with all of the terminology. I'm trying to find the name of this crocodile. Oh, here we have the Kimbinji. Kimbinji is the giant crocodile. So this giant crocodile is like a dinosaur, and it swallows Sudika whole as well as the ogre's carcass. Sudika is trapped in the belly of the crocodile, and it's up to his brother, who's also in the underworld, but his brother really didn't get any attention from anyone other than Kalangombe's daughter. So while Sudika was fighting the ogre, things move fast in the underworld. Sudika's brother and Kalangombe's daughter were kind of hitting it off, and there was natural chemistry between them, while there wasn't really any natural chemistry between Sudika and Kalangombe's brother. But because Kalangombe is the lord of the underworld, what he says goes, and he wanted Sudika as the husband-to-be if he passed the test. But Sudika's brother saw that his brother needed some help, and obviously he came to his defense, and he ripped a mighty hole into the giant crocodile's stomach and freed his brother. And after that, Sudika wanted to return to Kalangombe's daughter and propose to her, but just then his brother proposed to her, angering Sudika. So the two began a huge war in the underworld, fighting one another. Sudika's brother never stood a chance, and Sudika ended up winning the war and rising into heaven, becoming thunder, while his brother also rose to heaven, minus the girl, and became the echo of thunder. So that's how thunder was created, by Sudika ultimately defeating his brother, facing his past, and dealing with kind of twists and turns and unplanned situations such as the crocodile. And his brother kind of just remained irrelevant as the echo of thunder. So when you hear thunder today, think of Sudika. And when you hear that little irrelevant echo of thunder, think of Sudika's brother. I'm going to be posting more of these videos. I've kind of got like a Angolan Snow White kind of story, only with the prince, and then like this princess rescues him, and then I've got one with the king also venturing to Kalunga, the underworld, and communicating with Kalangombe, the lord of the underworld. And there's some really interesting stories in Angola, and I think it's time that we kind of start sharing them. And this is just, I think it's time that we start embracing like our African myths, and they're really interesting, and they always have some kind of great battle and meanings behind them. So if you like this video, like and subscribe, and share some Angolan myths and Congolese myths in the comments if you have any. Bye!